Happy Thursday, y'all. Welcome to On the Move with Nan and Cam. Hope you guys are having a great day. We're still thinking about all things 10K as we head into this beginning of winter here. And we know that the 10K training team, the YMCA 10K training team, is a huge part of that. That's a program that we do that over a course of some weeks gets participants ready for the Ukrop Monument Avenue 10K. And it's a huge part of the race for all of those runners that are first timers, especially. So it was actually something that I first did when I decided I wanted to run for the first time. So, because I did not run at all before. So it's a great tool for a lot of people and some people that continue to want to do it. So since it's coming up, we decided we would have the head coach.
The perfect person.
Yes, Jennifer Perrin, perfect person to answer all of your training team questions on today. So welcome, Jennifer. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, Cam might join the 10K training team for the first time this year.
Yes, I am nervous, but I'm excited. I'm ready for the challenge.
Oh, the coaches are going to just welcome you, and I am so happy you're going to join us on this journey.
Good. Yeah, I visited the Midlothian YMCA training team last year, and everybody was super friendly. I joined the walking ladies, so it was about 4 of us. But my home gym will be the Tuckahoe area, so I'm excited. I'm really excited. Doing it with a friend, actually.
Awesome. That's a good group. Yeah, they'll be meeting at a church and beautiful neighborhoods you'll be going through in that site location.
Oh, great.
Are you gonna? I haven't asked you. Are you gonna run, walk, run?
Run, walk.
Okay,
Run,
I love
walk.
that.
I know I've said it a couple times before, but I've always hated running. But since working here, I've gotten into like run, walk, and like the slightest bit of jogging, and through like the Nike Run Club app.
Yeah.
So I've been like working out throughout the weeks, doing some light jogging, so that when it does come time for it to start, I'm not exhausted and like dying and like.
I mean, I saw the video of you jogging. You didn't look like you were exhausted or dying.
That's because I put on a good front. I can't look too bad while I'm doing it. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about the whole talking like to the friend while I'm out there, but I'm excited.
That's part of the training.
Scared, but I'm. We'll see.
All right. So really, Cam is ready for you to ease all of her worries and concerns during this conversation and make her just feel totally ready to jump in.
Awesome.
Well, tell us a little bit. So, yeah, what's your background? How did you get to be a coach? And tell us a little bit about your own running and active living journey, kind of.
I actually started with a 10K and I walked it the first time also. I did not do it the right way because I thought, oh, I'll sign up, I won't train, and I'll just do it on race day, which ended badly with blisters on every part of my foot. And I was in pain for days afterwards. And then I got smarter and said, I need to join people and hold myself accountable and get involved with the training teams. And I started in Goochland as a participant, and then I became an assistant coach, and then the head coach of that site, and then worked my way up to the overall co-head coach and then head coach. So it's been a fun journey. I always tell people I am not the fastest one out there, but I will be the loudest cheerleader for you. Nobody is left behind. I don't care what pace you are. I will find you and cheer you on. Because, some days we have fast days. Some days we just are out there and just barely making it, and it's okay. So my past, I've done 2 full marathons. I've lost count on how many half marathons and 10Ks.
Right.
Yeah, I just have a good time. I have done a Spartan trifecta, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. I also have to say, most people don't say this. I've never won a race, but I can say I have come in last place for one of a local Richmond races.
You know what? You go, girl.
Because I did not give up, and I was in so much pain. I actually was helping pick up the cones, and the volunteers were like, "No, that's my job." And I said, "Oh, we're going to talk and do this together to distract me from my pain." But I just wanted people to know that it doesn't matter. I got the same medal as the person that crossed the first. Yes.
Exactly. And also you were out there for way longer. Like that's just so much more time to be in your head about it mentally
And be on
too.
your feet. Yeah. So
It is, and it was amazing. And the cheering was just the same. It was so much fun. So I always tell people when they say, "Oh, I can't do the 10K, I don't run anymore." And I said, we have a really good walking waves, I should say.
Yeah.
right.
And they're out there having fun. And actually, when you walk, you get to enjoy the sights, the cheering, the bands, take photos. It's a different journey when you're walking it.
I'm glad you said that because I feel like a lot of people always think because they're like, I could only walk it. And it's like, that's okay. Like,
It's the same event.
you're doing the same thing as everybody else. It doesn't matter if you walk it, if you like stop to sit down and like hang out with somebody and then you stand back up. Like, it's literally fine. As long as you're not out there for like 15 hours, then you're good.
As long as you make the cutoff. And I always kind of compare it to Busch Gardens in Kings Dominion. And I ask them, have you ever tracked your steps when you're out there with your family and your friends? You probably did more than
Oh
six
yeah.
miles.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so come have fun with us, get a medal for it, get your cheer on, whatever it is. It's so much fun. And I just love having all paces out there.
Yeah, I feel like your enthusiasm might have made this an easier like journey, but how did you go about becoming the head coach of the 10K training team? Like, what was your goal when you started your mission to becoming like the head coach?
Uh, my goal was never my race. I wanted to be there for others. And as a
Great.
coach, I am never running my pace. Um, and I'm always there. I don't care if you're walking, you're struggling, I will go whatever pace you are. I am there cheering them on. I think because I am such a people person, meaning that I want to cheer the crowd on. Um, it just kind of came naturally. It's hard to say how that happened. It was a goal that I secretly had, and I didn't really verbalize it to people, but I just kept giving energy to others and holding them accountable. Hey, where are you? Why aren't you here this weekend? Well, I can't run. Well, come walk with us. If you can't do 4 miles this weekend, do two. Whatever you can do, just keep waking up, keep coming with us. Whatever it is you have the ability to do. And I don't know. It's kind of strange how it kind of happened, but I never really verbalized or put it out anywhere. I'm going to be the head coach.
Right.
I told my husband, but
Yeah, that's great. I feel like I'm the same way. I'd rather cheer. It's harder to cheer for yourself, I feel like. It's a lot easier to cheer for everybody else. And so when you combine the two, that's the perfect
yes,
person to be.
Yeah.
it is.
That's part of what the 10K. I love that like Cameron was saying, I feel like you can get in your own head and like think about, I can't run that. And then I think when you're at a 10K training team, it helps to have you see like, yeah, there's about 20 other people on this team that aren't going to run, or 20 other people on this team that aren't worried about placing in their age group. And there's so many people that are on your exact level, and that like is their goal. Like their goal is not to go out there and do something that they don't feel like is attainable. So it is just, it's a race for everyone.
It truly is. And I have also, when I go to different sites, you hear of how people have had hip replacements, knee replacements, injections, or they just finished an ultra and they're coming out to try this for a timing PR. So you're going to meet every pace and every ability. Some of them are terrified because they definitely just got out of bed and they don't know what's coming next. But you kind of meet a friend, and Cameron, I bring this to the point too, where you're going to find somebody that every week you're like, wow, we just keep being next to each other, and we're going to kind of hold each other accountable as we have a easy conversation. And it comes naturally. You'll find that pace person that's your accountability and your buddy.
Yeah, that's how when I visited the Midlothian Y, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk it. And I it was more difficult than I thought because I was with the walking ladies, but those ladies are serious. Like they're talking the whole time, and we're going up hills and they're keeping the same pace. And I was like, oh my goodness. But they were like the people who were pushing me to go faster, walk faster than I normally, because it's not a mosey by any means. It's like we're on a time where you got to get this done. And I'm like, okay. And it was great because once we got back to close to where the YMCA was, the coaches came back and met us and walked with us the rest of the way. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. Like, y'all finished so long ago and we're coming up on an hour and y'all are still here like waiting for us. And that was like, I was like, this is great.
That's what the coaches are for. And I love that they will come and get you. They will find you. Even if you're like, wait a minute, I saw you leave with the rabbits, right? The fast
Right.
folks. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing you in the middle. And then at the end, they will surprise you and find you and they support you no matter where you're at, and there's no judgment. They're going to make sure to bring you in and encourage you. And speaking of the walking teams, it is not a mosey walk. There is a technique. There is a technique to it, and they will, in their strength training you need to do for walking or running. And I always remind folks, walking is an Olympic sport, and they are no joke on that team. I mean, they walk faster than some of our runners.
Exactly. That's why it's like sometimes when I tell people I'm going out for a run, they're like, "You go, girl, you run." I'm like, I'm running at the speed I could probably fast
Me
walk,
too.
but like I'm still doing it, so I'm gonna call it running.
Yep.
I also feel like it just helps so much, like even like with your mental energy time wise. Like if I walk 3 miles by myself in my neighborhood, I feel like I'm constantly looking at my watch or like thinking about it. And then like yesterday I walked 3 miles with a girlfriend, and it was that thing where like she was like, "Oh, I have to leave." Like we were walking around a neighborhood and I was like, "Oh, like 3 miles, how'd that happen?" Yeah. And that is totally a 10K training team feeling too, for sure. So why do you think the 10K, kind of going into that as well, why do you think the 10K is such a good starter race for people?
I think it's a good starter race for local or even non-local, because we do have the virtual teams also. It is a good starter race because of the camaraderie that you get with the coaches and your teams. The training team is awesome that there are different sites. So no matter where you live, we have as far west as Powhatan, as far east as Chickahominy, as far south as Petersburg, and as north as Lee. So we are somewhere near you in a neighborhood, or maybe two are near you. So that is a community feel. Also, 6.2 is attainable, especially when you start with 1 mile and you have 10 weeks to get there. You're not signing up today and doing it this Saturday. So the support is there from your coaches. The support is there from your community. And we have multiple locations, as I just mentioned, all of those, including a virtual. So if you travel a lot, you can do a virtual, still hold yourself accountable. They get on social media and you can join them as well.
That was great.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it's like, and it also is one, I feel like the feeling, another reason when I did it that I loved it was the feeling of that you feel with those people on the training journey so mirrors the race. Like the race is not something that is like uptight and not about fun and like that serious. Like the race is literally all about capturing that community essence of like a huge party, everything about it, it's visual, you're like looking everywhere, you're hearing people cheering and screaming. And so like it definitely has, the training goes perfectly hand in hand with the race day experience. So I feel like it's a great way to just, it's literally like a party that celebrates all of the work that you just put in. And then also you've got built-in people to do the event with. So it's great.
100%.
I agree. And also, speaking of the party of it, you kind of get that excitement and party when you go to the expo, because then you see people like, and they may have their training team shirts on, and you get the excitement of the race, where you're in your corral, and then you take off, and then you start seeing people and waving, friends, coworkers that you didn't know were doing it with you. Then at the end, you got your end party. Then even weeks later, and even 2 days ago, I see at the gym that I work at the red 10K shirts and the training shirts, and it makes it approachable where you're like, hey, where did you train? When you see that 10K training team shirt. So it causes a conversation and the excitement that you feel like you're a part of that group, like, oh, I trained with you.
Yeah. I also saw a training team shirt the other day when I was at the gym, which I was at Planet Fitness, and this person was there, and I was like, oh my goodness, hey, like I wonder if you go to the takeover line. But yeah, I also like being able to recognize other people, so I think it'll be a good thing too. I'll be able to be like, hey, I know you outside of this.
Also, easy to spot now that we have those great Sheehy Auto technical shirts
Yeah.
that they provided for training team members. That upgrade makes all the difference. You know, when you get that sweet piece of apparel that you can wear for forever after the race,
Right.
it definitely helps. And then you can just spot all your friends for the rest of the season. Yeah.
So can you tell us what a typical training session looks like when you're going through the 10K training? And then what is your favorite part of training?
Okay, so a typical site location, it doesn't happen with virtual, obviously, but the site, so you will arrive at the time that is allotted for your site. So they start anywhere from 7:30 to 8:30. And again, you'll find all those details at sportsbackers.org when you look up and sign up for your site specific. You will show up, the coaches will be sending you an email about anywhere from 3 to 5 days before you come on a Saturday. Meanwhile, we do have one training team for Sunday, and you'll get the heads up. We leave at X time. Please show up 10 to 15 minutes early, and they'll tell you where to park. They'll tell you where they meet, and they'll let you know where the restrooms are. It's also site specific. If you need childcare, you need to research that at sportsbackers.org for what sites have childcare available while you're training. So if you need that, you can drop off your children. And then your head coach and your assistant coaches will give announcements and let you know what's going on. You will sign in because there's always accountability. Like I had mentioned before, we do not leave anybody on the course. So you need to make sure you sign in when you arrive. And then they give your announcements. They do a warm up. You take off according to if you are a shaker or a mover. You'll find out more about that in your training manual and from your head coach, those distances. And you then, when you return, you make sure you sign out. And the energy is fun. When I visit each site, they're all different. Some of them bring boom boxes and they dance to a warm up. Some of them are singing. Some are really into the warm up, doing really like strong things. I know there's some that are really good about donations to the Massey Center, and they'll have a jar with drawings. So each site has their own kind of fun personality, depending on the head coach and the assistant coaches. Um, and you're going to build in time. So again, you show up, sign in, greet everyone, find your partner, because Cameron, you're going to find that person and you're going to
Right.
look out for them. Like, hey, we're here.
Bestie.
And yeah, and you do your distance, you come in, finish, and you sign out, and then you leave. And make sure to thank your coaches too, because they are volunteers. They
Right.
do this because of you showing up as a participant, and they just love being outside and waking up early.
That was and the waking up early
It's a
part.
real thing.
Yes, when I was out there, we actually passed Emily on a bike trail, and so they all were riding, and everybody was like, "Good morning, good morning," and I was like, "Everyone is in such a great mood. Like, I love this." Like, it was just, I think that was my first time in a while waking up that early to go be outside to do something, and I was like, these people are in such a great mood. Maybe I need to get up earlier on the weekend.
I know. It does. We also love like that feeling of productivity when you're done with something that early and you're
That's
like,
what I
boom,
said.
I'm finished.
Yes, I was finished and I was like, it is 8:30 in the morning. Or like, I was like, it's 9. I have the rest of my day to literally do whatever I want.
Yeah, Cameron's young. He has that ability to sleep in really hardcore still. So that's a real novelty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why when I was like, I've already did a mile, or I did 6 miles, and it's like 9.
Wow.
I can do whatever I want.
That's an amazing feeling. And I always, you come up with mantras, and I'm always like, I need my second cup of coffee. You end up meeting your buddy and like, hey, yep, let's meet up for coffee. Let's talk about how it went.
Yeah, you need that relaxation cup. I like that you need the one to go, the one to relax.
Right. And the one to be like, yeah, woo. What a great
done.
workout. Yeah.
When I visited Northside Y last time, I think that the head coach there at the time is Nate, and he was like, he like bought his own gift cards to raffle off at like from like popular local Northside businesses, and I like live over there too, and I was like, whoa,
I will be back.
Yeah. I met one of my neighbors that I didn't know before that lives on my street, and she came over and introduced herself, and she was like, I think I see you. Do you live like in the house down the street? And I was like, yeah. And I had definitely seen her and her husband being active, but I didn't, I'd never like, you wave to people, but we hadn't like met. It was great. Yeah. You might meet people that you already should know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is like, if somebody is on the fence about training, is there anything that you would tell them?
Well, first of all, I'd say do it.
Right.
Just do it, right? And I think this question could even go to Cameron as when I finish as a first timer too. And I say the energy is awesome. If you need the accountability and you need an appointment, and this is the way to, yeah, it's the way to do it. So you really should just do it because it's going to pay off in the end for that bonding, and you'll find someone. And some of these people still run together even though they met at a 10K event, and they go off and do other races, further distances, or even other states. They just found a buddy. So my answer is just do it because it's something you're going to regret. I know some people say, oh, I wish I had done the training team because I couldn't do it on my own like I thought I could.
Yeah.
Because your social life gets in the way, work gets in the way, your family gets in the way. But if you put it on the calendar, you already paid for it. You know you need those 10 dates and you're going to take them. But I shoot this also back to Cameron since she is kind of first time to it. Like, what made her say, I want to join it first time?
Good question.
That's a good question. So obviously I'll be working the 10K. I won't be able to do it, but I just think it's like a great, really visiting the Midlothian location last year and seeing, all different ages and just everybody from different paces doing it. And I was like, this is something I thought like a 10K, I would have never crossed my mind, but seeing people doing it at different paces like they were then, I was like, I can do this. Not just because I'm like, I'm better than them or I'm younger than them, but like, I was just like, this is something that is a lot easier than I think it is, something more attainable than I think it is, especially with like the training thing, like definitely joining the training team. I would never ever be like, I'm going to go do a 10K this weekend, no training. Like how you said, like you had blisters. I would no, because I just know I'd be like, why did I do this? And I'd be like, I'm going home. So definitely like if I was going to do an actual 10K at the end of this, I would 100% train just because I know it's the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, you still can do the 10K because there is the 20K challenge. So you can do it virtually. So if you need someone to hold you accountable, I will wait at the end with a cup of water or some cookies or whatever you need, and you can do it virtually. Because yes, the sports backers crew that is out there working at before some of us even go to bed, you guys are starting the night before a race and the morning of, and the volunteers that are out there, they are what makes this possible. So some of you work it, you're there, but you don't get to do it. And that's exhausting as well. But I do hold you accountable to do the virtual the week before.
Yes, I'm gonna find somewhere to be able to do that.
I'm gonna guess that if you look at your watch at the end of race day, it's gonna say that you walked over 6.2 miles.
That too. That is another reason. I was telling somebody last year I was trying to get all the content I could, so I went towards one end, and then I turned around and was like, I have to walk back. Yeah. And I ended up walking back, and I was like, I might as well grab a medal when I get back. Like I just did this whole race, and I was like, and I think then is when I was like, you know what, I probably could do this whole race if I wanted to. So I think that's another reason why, like that long work day, because that was my first event last year. That long work day, I was like, dang, I need to get in shape before I come walk out here like this again.
I was also going to say we're super similar, and I feel like people focus on the physical prep of doing the training team, but another thing that's huge for me is like the mental prep. Like
Yeah.
I think so much more of it is me. Like I know myself, and like Cameron was saying, she's not going to sign up for something. If I feel like I like can't do something, that is huge. But if I have seen the laid out like plan, and I'm like, oh, well, last week I already did 6, so what's 6.2, or I've done 5 before that, then just knowing that it takes so much of that like anxiety away for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was another thing too, is the written out plan is actually so well like thought out. And I know people think that just because, you know, you meet at the Y on Saturdays or Sundays, then that's all the training that you're getting in. But the plan is actually written out for you to keep running and walking throughout the.
Correct.
And so, and it's literally like 1 mile, 1 mile, 1.5, one in like almost 2 miles. And I'm just like, this is a lot more attainable than just going from 1 to 6 in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And if I could add to that, it's also important to do your cross training. As I tell folks, it doesn't matter if you're a walker, a runner, or an intervals person. More running on your feet does not equal, like 7 days a week of running does not equal a better race. You
Yeah.
need to complement that with cycling, yoga, meditation, swimming, strength training. There's so many other components that will help you and give your body a rest at the same time. You're still getting strength. Meditation as well, because, like we said, it is a mind thing and you need to mentally be ready.
Right.
All about that mental strength and that physical strength.
That's what I'm going to be building up.
Well, I think everybody now knows that also they just need to do the training team so they can hang out with you on Saturdays and Sundays because you're just awesome. So to kind of wrap up that portion, I don't know if we told you or not, but we do a little this or that, which is just fun questions with you. And we did go 10K related on these. So they are sort of a fun 10K play, but we're going to go ahead and go into that. So this or that, are you more of, we can just say like training team excluded. Are you more of an early morning run or are you like later in the day? Let me have that coffee. Let me wake up.
Early morning.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your typical, how early, if you're not with a training team, what's your favorite time to get up to go run?
If I can find people between 5 and 5:30.
Ooh.
My heart stopped.
Oh, that is, wow. That's so...
I've gotten used to that from other training teams that I'm on. And yes, you have to wear, protection gear, lights and all that. But in the summer, you want to finish as early as possible.
Yeah.
And, I prepare my body, have my cup of coffee, a little bit of breakfast. And then I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have the second breakfast.
Breakfast is a good motivator. I'm that idiot in the summer that is going at noon.
4 p.m.
Yeah, and is then like darting from shade to shade and then get home and I'm like, why do I feel awful? And it's like, I can tell you why, but I'm gonna do it the next day.
Yeah. Like I'd rather just pass out at the end.
Yeah.
Get up. Who cares?
Yeah, I have to have like a 30-minute floor meditation afterwards while I just lay there and sweat.
Oh.
Next this or that is this is more of the fun aspect of race day. Would you rather be a part of an epic porch party or would you rather dress up and run? And have you done
Have I done either? Dress up, I've mildly dressed up like a tutu. I don't put on too much because you got to think about, you got to carry that stuff with you.
Yeah, like Mr. Tutu.
Yeah. I don't know. Epic porch party? I'd have to say, since I've done a mild dress up, I think I would have to say epic porch party because I haven't done it yet.
Okay, I like that.
Usually I'm waving at them, and some of them are having a blast cheering on.
100%.
Might just run off the course, hang out with them.
Literally. I remember I passed by somebody, and their sign said, I'll give you a beer if you quit here. And I was like, oh my God. Like, why are you trying to get people to fail? And we're not even like 3 miles in.
Yeah. Some of the signs are hilarious. And yes, they are cheering on. If it's cold, when we've had it in March, they have their fire pits out and they're wrapped in blankets and they're still cheering you on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They deserve their own medals. We gotta,
Yes.
give them some participant medals. So the last question is, are you more of a medal person or a t-shirt person? Which one gets you more excited? Which one's making you just visualize the finish line because you can't wait to get it?
Now it's the shirt. It used to be the medal, and I would wear that medal because I always schedule a pedicure after the race.
Love.
That's perfect.
I might have to do that.
I'm all about, I need someone to just massage and make my feet happy. And I would wear the medal to my pedicurist. Yes. And I'm like, I'm going to wear this everywhere. And now it's about the shirt because I do look a little ridiculous walking around 2 months later wearing a medal. But the shirt, it's just awesome. And yes, I do judge the shirt colors if it goes with jeans.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't want anything too blue then.
Yes. Like last year's was red, and the technical shirts are awesome in the summer because you're not worried about cotton and sweating. So I am thankful to Sheehy for doing that. So I do love, and I have to say that back again, the technical shirts. That is my favorite. So thank you to Sheehy for doing that.
Yeah, I think that's a huge added bonus. So that was awesome that they've continued to do that. Really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that is all that we have. Do you have anything else that you want to add, 10K related or not 10K related?
I mean, I guess 10K related. I am excited that this is the 25th anniversary. I mean, that is, to me, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's a milestone. That's an awesome milestone to see where you've come from and where we are today. And also that is 2024 is my 25th anniversary since I moved to Virginia. So
super exciting.
Yes, I just missed the race by like a few months, so I wasn't here yet. But how exciting that, I had just moved here in October of 99 and you guys had started. I was like, wow. So to hear that that's an anniversary, I am so excited. And I can't wait to hear when I see the sites who has done X amount of races in the past 25 years for 10K.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like if you were new to Richmond, we always talk about this is like a Richmond orientation. If you haven't done much in the city yet, it's a great way to see the community that you've become a part of. So we definitely encourage all new residents to come out.
Yeah, I agree. I also, I remember since it was my first race, when I got out there, I was literally like amazed. I turned to my boss and I was like, I don't know why. I just didn't think that this many people lived out here and would come together, this many people. She was like, yeah. And I was like, this is ridiculous. There's so many people out here.
Oh yeah. And it's it is, you said, there are people that travel, but it's 90% local, and that's huge. We don't have any other events, I feel like that's like that. And when you're out there and you see all of those people, it's also one of our largest events. So the fact that it's 90% local and it's one of our largest is very impactful.
Right. Exactly.
It is. And that park end of race party, post race, I love that it's back in the park because it's so much fun to find people, or you find someone you didn't know that was there. Yeah, I mean, it's all about that gathering in the park, and it was a lot of fun even last year with the vendors. And of course, you got to get your post race snack because you earn that banana, your White House rolls, whatever. Yeah. Yes, all those yummies. And then, going around, if there's any vendors that you want to buy an extra snack from, or the kids get to play around. I mean, it's really a family thing, and I really like that.
Yeah, it's great. It's a party for everybody. So we'll be looking forward to it April 20th, and really looking forward to the start of 10K training team February 10th.
Yeah.
Hope it goes great for both of you. I'll be out there to visit at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it.
No, I thank you guys so much for having me on, and I am excited to see you guys start on the 10th because there's no better way to start your Super Bowl snacking than getting a little mile in, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that connection. We can play that up on social.
We gotta put that up. Yeah,
that's perfect
before you get your snacks.
Yeah. before you walk your mile up and down the chip aisle. at the
Literally.
grocery store.
Well, I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. And let me know, if we can do this again as we get into the race time frame, into the training. Let me know if we need to do it again.
All right, great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
And everybody, thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.